Are you sure you see someone?
This is David. He is a security guard at a hotel in Penang. It's 11:30 at night, and the hotel's swimming pool is closed. But minutes earlier, his colleague in the security control room said a teenager was seen heading towards the swimming pool. David was told to check it out. He circled the swimming pool. There's no one there. There must have been a mistake, he told his colleague in the security room. He returns to the security control room. His colleague, Salma, insists she didn't make a mistake. She shows the CCTV recording to David for privacy reason. The camera is facing the entrance to the swimming pool area, but not the pool itself. True to her words, there was a teenager heading towards the swimming pool. Well, he must have left right before I arrived, David said. No, I was watching the screen all the time. I didn't see anyone leaving. David scratches his head. He is certain that there is no one at the pool area. Did you check the towel counter? Well, maybe he is hiding there when he heard you coming. David admits that is a possibility. Could be one of those YouTubers. You better go find him if you don't want to get us fired. A month before, a group of YouTubers sneaked into the hotel's pool at night. They made a video.
Rumors have it that the boy who drowned here 10 years ago is haunting this pool.
The video went viral, and the hotel management was very unhappy about the allegation. The security team was blamed for allowing the YouTubers to sneak in and was given a warning to improve their job performance. Okay, I will go check again, David said. David goes to the pool area. This time, the first place he checks is the towel counter, bar area, and other places someone could be hiding in. Again, he fails to find anyone. David is about to leave the pool area when he heard some sound behind him. He turns around and is surprised to see a teenage boy swimming in the pool. A sense of relief washes over him because now he knows it's not one of those YouTubers. David asks if the teenager is a guest of the hotel, and the teenager nods his head. He told David that he stays in room 412. Sorry, sir. The pool is closed for the night, so I have to ask you to leave, David said. Oh, come on. I just want to swim, the teenage boy pleaded. David explains they can't allow the guests to use the pool after the closing hours. Why not? The boy asks. David let out a sigh and explains that the lifeguard is not on duty after the closing hours, so it's dangerous for the guests to swim alone in the dark. If you get into trouble, there is no one around to help you. You might drown. The teenager grins.
I can't die the second time.
A few years back, Nadia had to make a last-minute trip to Kuantan for an emergency work meeting. The hotel she usually stays was fully booked, so she went to a lesser-known boutique hotel. Nadia reached the hotel around 11 p.m. The receptionist was a middle-aged Chinese man. She felt very uncomfortable when talking to that man. Not that he did anything wrong. He was polite and professional throughout the check-in, but somehow she felt a bad vibe from him. It was a relief for her to finish the check-in and get the key to her room. She made her way to the elevator as her room was on the 4th floor, but her relief turned into terror the moment the elevator door opened. There was a woman standing at the dark corridor with blood on her face and dress. Nadia screamed. She quickly closed the elevator door and went back to the ground floor. She ran out of the hotel. The receptionist shouted something after her, but Nadia wasn't paying attention. She just wanted to get away from there. She ended up spending the night in her car that night. It was the most terrifying experience in Nadia's life. But as time passes, she thinks less and less often about that night. That was until last week when she saw a news article. The police have arrested a serial killer in Quantin who have murdered 13 young women in the past 20 years. Those murders took place in a boutique hotel owned by the suspect. Nadia gasped when he saw the picture of the suspect. Now she understands. The ghost wasn't trying to harm her. She scared Nadia away to save her life. This is a recording from a security camera in a hotel in Kuala Lumpur.
My heart almost stopped. I couldn't believe my eyes.
That was Ali, who was working as the security manager at the hotel at that time. The incident took place back in early 2000s. The hotel was highly rated, but a series of thefts was threatening their reputation. Many guests complained about missing cash and other valuables when they stayed at the hotel. The hotel owner instructed Ali and his team to increase the security and surveillance. Ali took the initiative to review every second of the security camera footage, and that was when he found that strange footage. Let's look at the footage again. A green, small-sized creature sneaking out from a room before disappearing at the end of the corridor. At the same time, guests are complaining about losing their valuables. If you are familiar with Southeast Asians' paranormal stories, the first word that would come to mind is toil. A toil is a small, mischievous, supernatural creature from Malay folklore, often depicted as a green-skinned child or baby-like being. It is believed to be raised or controlled by a bomo to steal money or valuables on behalf of its master. A toil is typically created through dark rituals, sometimes involving the spirit of a stillborn child or a preserved fetus obtained through black magic. The hotel owner was very concerned. He ordered the security to double the shift, but after a week, the problem still persisted. People started talking, and the booking for the hotel room started to decline.
What can the security do? That's a paranormal creature, not a common thief.
He came up with another plan. A few days later, a Malay bomo came to the hotel. He went inside a room and performed a ritual there. Nobody else was allowed to be inside that room when that was done, except the hotel owner. Whatever the ritual was, it worked. There was no more complaints about stolen money and valuables from the guests after that. But there was a new rule for everyone in the hotel. The room where the ritual was done was sealed up. No guest was allowed to stay in that room, even if the hotel was fully booked. No staffs were allowed to go into the room for whatever reason. It was a strange rule, and the owner did not explain the reason behind it. Most of the staffs followed the rule without question, but some people are more curious than others. One of them was Ali's colleague, David. He couldn't help wondering and speculating on the secret behind the door. One day, David decided to disobey the owner's instruction and went inside the room. This was what he recorded on his handphone.
That's our new guardian.
Other staffs found David unconscious in the corridor of the hotel. After that incident, the hotel's owner decided to tell us the truth. He hired the bomo to place a guardian spirit in the room. The guardian spirit was instructed to protect the hotel from paranormal disturbance, like the previous Toil incident. David was lucky that the guardian spirit was instructed never to harm any of the hotel's guests or workers. Otherwise, he might have not survived the encounter.
Sometimes we have to fight fire with fire.
According to rumors, this is a common practice in many hotels in Southeast Asia, especially those resort hotels at isolated locations. So, the next time you visit a hotel, make sure you do not wander off to any forbidden places. Please hit the like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. At first, Bella thought it was Paula snoring. But then she realized Paula doesn't snore. It was around 3 in the morning. The hotel room was dark and quiet, with just the faint hum of the air conditioner. Then she heard it again. A wheezing sound, wet, ragged, like someone trying to breathe through a throat full of water. It was coming from right next to her. She turned to Paulo. He was asleep, lying on his side, breathing normally, calm, peaceful. She leaned in and whispered, "How?" He didn't answer. She waited. The sound stopped. Maybe she was just tired. Maybe she imagined it. Bella lay back down. But then she heard it again. The same wheezing sound. This time it was followed by a raspy voice. "Help me. I can't breathe." The voice was so close, too close. Like someone was lying between her and her husband. She screamed. Paulo jolted awake beside her, grabbing her arm. He asked her what happened. "There's someone in the room," she said. I heard him saying he can't breathe. He looked around, still half asleep and confused. There was no one else inside the hotel room. He suggested she probably had a nightmare, but she knew she didn't. Something was wrong with that room. She begged him to go downstairs with her and asked to switch to a different room. She didn't want to stay there another second. They went to the front desk. Bella had expected the receptionist to ask questions or maybe rolling her eyes. But when they told her they were in room 1509 and wanted to change, she didn't even blink. She just said, "All right," and handed us a new key card. No hesitation, no surprise, no question. Like it wasn't the first time someone had asked to do the same. The next day, over brunch, they met up with one of Paula's Malaysian friends. They told her what happened, half joking, trying to make light of it. The friend went quiet. Then she said that hotel was used as a quarantine center during the early days of COVID. Before vaccines, whole floors were converted. A few people didn't make it. She didn't need to say anything else. Bella didn't need to hear more. It made sense in the worst possible way.
Help me, please. Is anyone out there? Help!
Eddie was on the way back to the kitchen after delivering a room service when he heard the woman's voice. He froze. The pleading came from inside a room. He took a step closer to the door just to be sure. "Help me, please." This time he was certain it came from inside that room. Eddie pulled out his hand phone, and to his surprise, there was no signal. It was strange, but he didn't have the time to dwell on that. Another pleading of help came from inside the room. Eddie started panicking. This was his third day on the job as a service staff of the hotel. He was given training on customers and room services, but he was not told what to do in a situation like this. Should he go back to the office to inform his supervisor? But the person might be in deep trouble and require urgent assistance. "Help me." The voice sounded even more desperate now. Eddie had made up his mind. His supervisor said the guests always come first. This guest was in deep trouble, so he should check on her first before going for help. "Excuse me," he shouted. "Are you okay?" "I need help," the voice replied. "Come in. The door is not locked." Eddie gripped the door handle. He was about to push the door open when he felt a hand on his shoulder. He let out a startled scream and turned around. It was Raheem from the hotel's security team. Raheem didn't say a word. He merely pulled Eddie away from the door. Someone inside needs help, Eddie told him. Raheem shook his head and told Eddie to follow him. But what about the guests? She sounds like she is in trouble, Eddie reiterated his point. Look at the room number, the security guy said. Eddie turned around, looked at the door number. Room 1344. Something flashed across his mind. Then he remembered. On his first day at the job, his supervisor told him that room 1344 was permanently sealed up due to some irreparable damages to its bathroom water pipes. Eddie was told never to go inside that room. Raheem dragged Eddie away from the door. When they were in the security room, Raheem showed Eddie the CCTV recording. Eddie was surprised that he had been standing in front of that room for almost 15 minutes. To him, it felt like no more than 2 or 3 minutes. Raheem explained that a woman was assaulted and murdered in that room many years ago. The case was never solved. Maybe the victim was angry not only at the perpetrator, but also at the hotel staff, as no one went to help her on that fateful night. Once, a cleaning lady went inside the room. She went missing for 3 days before someone found her crying inside a cleaner closet. Weeks later, she took her own life. Since then, the security team was instructed to monitor that particular hallway every night. Eddie felt his knees going weak. Raheem tapped him on his shoulders and said, "She almost got you." We hope you enjoyed this story. If you have any story to share, please comment below. Thank you for watching.